Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Doyle and this is my CoughDrop video reflection. So upon opening up and looking at CoughDrop, I was immediately overwhelmed by all the choices. I have some previous experience with AAC devices, so the core boards and set up the way they are, some of those things look familiar to me, but again, very minimal exposure to them since I have one student who uses an AAC device right now, and I haven't had him that long. But CoughDrop itself, at first, looks very overwhelming. I was just kind of clicking around to try to navigate the page and become familiar with the website itself before I even started playing around with it, just to see the different variations of boards, choices, ways to set things up, all the pictures you can choose from. I kind of dabbled with it a couple nights in a row just to play around with it. And then I went in and set up 2 boards just to get started, to kind of program a little bit. I was able to program a board about personal information for myself. Once I got into programming the board, it was a little bit easier, and I figured out, ways to do things as opposed to when I first jumped on there. I was typing in and saving sentences somehow, and then it got tagged to another board, but I figured it out. So I definitely don't know it all from my few times visiting the site, but it's definitely something interesting that I am excited to get back on and look at in terms of expanding my knowledge on it. My opinion on the ease of communicating with CoughDrop for students using this, and I'm sure we'll come across that when we do the sensitization activity, I don't see that it's something that's very easily done. Not a lot of ease with it, especially for new people, especially new students who may not have a lot of exposure to technology beforehand. You're just giving this kid something to do, and they start playing around with it, and they need to expose themselves to it, get used to it themselves before it becomes easy and before it becomes something that they're able to do fluently. Like I mentioned before, I have a student who still requires hand over hand with his for a lot of use. So navigating the board, navigating the pages, and with all the options on CoughDrop, I can only imagine, how many pages some kids have and have to choose from. So it's definitely something that's not probably easy to navigate initially, but once you get practice and you figure out where things are and, what your preferred items are and things like that, you should be able to have a little bit more of an easier time with it. And that's kind of speaks to the challenges students might face with it as well. Like I previously mentioned, having the exposure and being able to practice and, mess around with it and add new things, add buttons, practice with preferred items so students get to know the board and get to know the device in a fun way, requesting for snacks or requesting for candy or, something preferred. You don't want it to become something that's challenging that they get frustrated with right away, because then they're not going to want to use it. So being able to warm and tell it up to a device by activities such as that, or using it to gain access to preferred items, I think is definitely something that would eliminate some of the challenges students may face in terms of, being frustrated with using the device for communication. So I'm excited to see how it's going to be when we are using it to communicate with each other. Just the instant communication we have being vocal is something that we're not going to have through CoughDrop. You have to navigate what you want to say, get to it and find it, and, different pages. So it's definitely going to be something that's interesting and a good way to expose yourself to, the challenges some other students may face in their daily life. So looking forward to it.